freedom. Leviticus 17. So Leviticus 17 is talking about the location of the sacrifice. And you see, God is really concerned with everything, how we do it, what we do it, the animals that we use, where, the what we wear, everything. So now we're talking about the location of the sacrifice. And the Lord said, and I want you to know, the Lord said, Moses not just coming up with stuff and telling these people what to do. The Lord is telling him to do all this stuff, and he's going back to the people out of obedience to God and telling the people, and out of obedience to God, the people are listening to Moses. They're not listening to Moses because of Moses. They're listening to Moses because of God. They believe that he hears from God, so they listen to him. And it's their responsibility to decide whether or not he is hearing from God. And that's our responsibility too, is to know that if a person is talking to you, God, I've had people tell me stuff, I just put it on the shelf and be like, okay, well, we'll see, what truth this has, and thank you, and I go on about my way. Some things in my life has come to what people have shared with me, and some it's still on the shelf. But it's my responsibility to decide if it's God or not. My responsibility, your responsibility. So now we're talking about the location of the sacrifice. So God said, if ox, lamb, or goat is put to death, and you don't sacrifice those animals to me, and you put them to death, and you're not sacrificing them to me, then you die. He said, you're using these sacrifices for yourself some type of way, and it's supposed to come to me, you die. He said, don't use them for devil. Don't use them for devil worshiping no more. He said, stop all that stuff. He said, all that stuff that you used to do with these animals is for me. He said, in or out of the camp. You know how we like to play with words. Or you told me not to do it when I was in the camp, so I did it out the camp. Or you told me not to do it out the camp, so I did it in the camp. Well, God is saying in or out of the camp. So He let you know wherever you are, you don't do this with these animals because they are for my sacrifice. He said with strangers too. He said if you got people in your house and stuff that if they're up under you, no. If they're on your land and they live in there, no. He said, I'm telling you, strangers in your household, you do this. This is my sacrifice. His sacrifice. And this is the thing in the New Testament. He said, we are the living sacrifice now. God's people are the living sacrifice. He's not asking nobody to kill himself. So when you hear anything, I haven't heard anything in the news in a while, but at one time people was constantly putting themselves on the cross and saying that they're sacrificing themselves for people. God's not doing that no more. So if you hear of it or that comes in your mind, that's not of the Lord. He's not sacrificing. He's looking for living sacrifices. So we are his living sacrifice. And he's saying, don't take no sacrifice in or out of the camp. I don't care what you do, it's for me. He's saying we are his people and he wants us to be used for him only. Him only. Don't take my sacrifice, which is we are the living sacrifice now. Don't take my sacrifice to the devil. Don't take my sacrifice to the things that I'm asking to the things that I'm not asking you to do. Don't take you to the sacrifice. Don't sacrifice my children. Don't sacrifice your marriage. Don't sacrifice your life to the devil. Because I'm looking for a living sacrifice and I want you to live for me. I want my sacrifice now to live for me. Before the sacrifices were being killed for the people to atone through the priest. But he's saying now, I want you to live. I want you to be my sacrifice, and I want you to be a living sacrifice. And I don't want you to take anything of you to anything but to me. I don't want you taking it to nothing. I don't want you outside of your marriage doing anything. I don't want you outside of your life doing anything. I don't want you sacrificing unto the things that's not of me anymore. He said, I don't want you to do this no more. I don't want you to do this no more. I want you to be with me. You know what it's like to have somebody fall in love with you and say, I want you to be with me. I don't want you to be with nobody else no more. I don't want you dating nobody else no more. I don't want to know that you have other people in your life. I don't want you to be with nobody but me. I want us to have a relationship. And that's what God is saying now. We are his living sacrifice. I want you to be with me. And I want you to know that God wants you to be with him. He wants his people. He wants them healthy and strong and doing what they're supposed to be doing. And don't be running out the door and giving his sacrifice, which is you. He's made us the living sacrifice to be doing things that's not becoming to his ways.